Hello, this is Mr. Reynolds, and today we want to talk about elements that are present in organisms. So we're going to change this, elements and organisms. Now, these are the elements that are in organisms that you are made up of as you're sitting there listening to me. Okay, there's major elements, and then there's some that are the body needs in very small amounts only. They're called the trace elements, and we need these in minute amounts only. If we have them a little bit more than that, I think there's like about 7 of these, and they add up to about they're less than 0.1% of your entire body mass. Okay, so we need these in small amounts only. Anything more than that, and it becomes toxic to us. Okay, so we must have these in minute amounts only. Okay, that's how they're safe. So again, these are elements in organisms. You're made up of these. Okay, here's a list that this is from a while ago, and I looked up stuff on the. I Googled a number of things, and I see variation in there some, but for the most part, a lot of these are agreed upon. These first four, these are the big four, okay, and these top four make up about 96% of you. Okay, if you add these up, that's about 96% of you. Okay. The other two major ones that make the top 6, besides those 4, it's also phosphorus, and it's also sulfur. Okay, and you can't necessarily go by this chart. This is what's in the human body. Okay, we're talking about all organisms, and most organisms aren't necessarily vertebrates. Okay, so if we take carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, and oxygen, the top 4, okay, and then phosphorus and sulfur. Oh, this is a word that we're likely to remember these by. Schnapps. This is the top 6. Okay, and then you can see all these others that are needed in very small amounts only, and all of them together add up to less than 0.1%. Okay, vertebrate organisms like us, we've got this in the mix also. Let's go to the next slide. So vertebrate organism is going to, if it's got the vertebrae, it's got all the other bones also. And we know that, calcium helps bones grow strong. So actually the bones, it's a storage area for calcium. Okay, storage means it puts it there, but you can go in and get it when you want to. As people get older and they don't absorb as much, there's calcium that's pulled out of the bone and used. That's why some of the bones get weaker. Okay, every time you have muscles contract, and muscles, just as you're sitting there, if you're moving your fingers and contracting those muscles, there's calcium that's being used by that. Okay, so it's something that has to be replaced, and like most things, we get it into our diet. Okay, so here we are back with vertebrate organisms. Okay, if we're talking about vertebrates, if we had a pie chart here and look all the organisms that we knew of, this slice of pie right here, I made it a little bit bigger than it would be because I used to get a bigger slice of pie. This would be the vertebrates. All the rest of this would represent the invertebrates. Okay, no bones. Okay, insects. All other arthropods, mollusks. Okay, more and more. Seahorses are invertebrates. Worms are invertebrates. So most of the organisms that we know of are invertebrates. A small slice of the pie is vertebrates. Okay, so Like I said, when we're talking about all the other organisms, carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, and then phosphorus and sulfur are most abundant in that also. Okay. Next. Okay, this brings us back to, we want to look at this again. Again, we saw these were the top four, 96%. Add in the phosphorus, add in the sulfur, and we're up to about 99.9%. Okay, 99%. We've got, there's some argument of these minerals, etc. They argue about these a little bit, but you can see the mass is pretty small. Sodium, okay, too much of it to be considered a trace element. We can't consider it a trace element because it's 0.2, where the trace elements are less than 0.1. All right, so we pretty much have all these adding up to that. I think we're going to stop with this part right now before we get into any special, in particular individual uses of those. We'll look at those as we continue. So we're going to stop at this right now, and you have some questions in your OneNote to do. And make sure that you are doing this work on your own, okay? Since we're not going to be seeing you back this school year, you've got right now, I think everything says, I think the online work is about 25%. And you've noticed that if I look at it and if I see, I've seen this answer a bunch of times just like this, just worded, I'm docking you points big time on it. So you want to get all that you can. Right now it says that online work is about 25% of your grade, and that's probably going to be going up some as I look at it and adjust stuff. If it says that your tests and quizzes are 40%, it used to be 56, and I had to drop that down when I made this sum. This just seemed fair. So anyway, answer these questions, and that is it. Thank you very much.